Hello, Stephen White here for Steve Arts 89. Well, this is a big surprise. I was just looking over Facebook and I saw an article from Empire saying Spider-Man back in the MCU for Far From Home sequel and another Marvel movie. What the fuck? After all the crap they've been saying about how they're out, they can't negotiate between Disney and Sony and all the political crap, how they want to. I'm just going to get to the article. The tangled web over the rights to Spider-Man continue to spin, and now comes the news we've all been hoping for, ever since a contractual renegotiation saw Marvel's web crawler crash out of the MCU in a dispute between Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios. The new deal has been struck, which will bring a third Spider-Man film within the continuity for the MCU. The sequel to Far From Home will arrive on the 16th of July 2021, with Tom Holland back for the titular role. Kevin Feige will produce the movie alongside Amy Pascal, though it's currently unconfirmed whether Homecoming and Far From Home director John Watts will be back. Not only that, but the release confirms that Spider-Man will also appear in a Marvel Studio film. No word yet on which film that is, though. Stay tuned for more as the story continues to unfold, but in the meantime, file this one alongside James Gunn's Guardians Return in the huge sigh of relief folder. So I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I did a couple of videos on this, but I've forgotten most of it already. Marvel and Sony both basically wanted the character. They both wanted the money. Sony kind of figured that Marvel had set them up for a hit Spider-Man series, so they were just going to continue on using Tom Holland in his sort of MCU version of Spider-Man in their own films, and just deal with all the characters that they bought that they got when they bought the Spider-Man license, and they were sort of just going to stick to him facing Venom and stuff. And I wasn't too bothered by that because I liked Tom Holland's Spider-Man enough to think he could actually carry a film and a series by himself. So I was annoyed at first because I'm like, I just come back from the film. I enjoyed it. I really wanted to see the third film, and I liked seeing him in the MCU. I liked his portrayal in the MCU. I liked everything about that, and I thought it all worked. And then I thought, you know what? If we still get Spider-Man, but he's just in his own films with the characters from his universe, I'm going to be okay with it, because that's enough. I don't need the MCU. I don't need all that. And the MCU can survive without him. He can survive without them. It'd be nice if we could have both at the same time, but we can have both separately and enjoy them both. So I was okay with that. But it was annoying that the studios were putting their profits and negotiations and egos above the fans and what we wanted to see, and to not continue what we had been given and were expecting. And the only thing I really saw the problem with is how would they continue. I could understand them doing standalone films with Spider-Man, that's fine, but I couldn't understand how they were going to fix or finish off Homecoming, because the Far From Home sequel, because they had left on a cliffhanger, and you don't leave on a cliffhanger when you're planning to end the series. So obviously they were planning to do another film, and my understanding was if the film made enough money, they would continue on making them. And since it did really well, obviously more than all the others, they were going to continue on. That's why they started to renegotiate with Sony. Marvel. So yeah, I'm happy that they did it. I'm not totally surprised now I think about it, because I'm like, there's no way they could have left it like it was. They couldn't leave the negotiation table like that. I'm guessing someone let go of something they wanted, or ended up giving up something someone else wanted or they didn't want to give up, and they just made it happen because it just wasn't going to work, I guess, to have no Spider-Man, or to just have this different version of this limited version of Spider-Man where he couldn't reference any of the MCU stuff. So anything from the Homecoming films in relation to the MCU would not be able to exist, and how that the character could really even be depicted without dealing with all those issues. Either they just have him miraculously recover, or just not specifically deal with it. But knowing the audience knows that it exists, but they're not dealing with it. I couldn't see how they could deal with it. I thought they're going to have to be very clever with how they write this. They're going to have to do some very separate standalone stories that pull you out of the sort of all the story strings and things from all the MCU films, and that's the only way they can do it. They can't sort of do a regular Spider-Man film and just ignore all that. They have to do something very singular somehow, like he gets pulled into another universe, or he just is dealing with, I don't know. I was just thinking of ways they could do it, but I'm glad now they don't have to come up with some contrived, everyone has amnesia or something. I thought they're going to have to think of some really weird way to do a singular insulated story, but now they don't have to do that because now he's back. They can finish off the trilogy, and he's going to make an appearance in at least the next one of the Marvel MCU movies from Phase 4, which allows them to end off his story. I'm assuming this is a get out contract. Like, you can finish off your trilogy, and then you can go off and start a new one with Spawn or who the hell ever, or Venom, who the hell ever, and do a separate one that doesn't involve the MCU. So we're not limiting you, we're not stopping you from finishing your trilogy, and then you can go off and do your own independent one. And same with Marvel. It's like they gave each other a film and said, okay, you get Spider-Man back to do one more story, so you can resolve his involvement in the MCU, and you get to use the MCU in your last one of your established trilogy, so you can finish the story without it being ridiculous. So I'm guessing they made that compromise and just said, look, we both need one more film out of this contract so we can end things off. Clearly they're not going to continue on long term, but this is a just resolve all the issues, dot all the I's and stuff, and move on. And I'm sorry, it's very late, and I'm very tired, but I just want to do a video on this, mostly because no one else has. I saw the article and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking around, I'm like, I'm on YouTube, I'm on just searching, and I'm like, no, there's no other articles, no one's talking about this. Is this a fake article or something? And then Midnight's Edge was up, and I just said, why is no one talking about Spider-Man back in the MCU from Empire? And then they said, oh, we're working on it. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's happening, it's just new and no one's onto it yet. Okay, fine, I'll just do a video with just what I know. And this is all I needed to say. He's back, they're doing a film each. They've obviously decided we need to finish off, we need to resolve all our loose story ties and everything, and get out of the situation that we were working in for a while, because it looks like long term they are going to do, they are going to be separate, they are going to do their own things, and Sony will do its own Spider-Man trilogy and movies and everything, and TV series or whatever, and the MCU will go on without him, unless Disney buys Sony as well, which is something people are talking about happening. So he may eventually end up back in the MCU. Maybe they'll do a trilogy or two on their own, and then he can have his own little stories and then come back to the MCU later by Phase 5 or whatever. But who knows? All I know is what's in the article, so I'm kind of relieved. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Like, oh, he's gone. Oh, maybe he's going to be back. Oh, no, he's not. It's over, because we were told it's over. The end. They're not negotiating. No one's compromising. That they've all got their own agendas, because there were a whole bunch of other politics about why they wouldn't do it and how they were going to be managing things behind. That's why I'm so surprised. I heard all these stories and I thought, well, that sort of makes sense. All this backstage producing, politicking and that. I thought, of course, no, they don't care about the fans and the story. It's all about them and their egos and their merchandising and all that. But it looks like they managed to get the shit together for one last film for each of them, one last contract. So I'm glad. I look forward to the two movies, and whatever else Spider-Man does independently on his own, because I love the character, and as long as Tom Holland's doing it, I'll be there. I don't know if they'll ever find anyone as good as him or Tobey Maguire, but hopefully he's very young. He can do a few of them, especially if they let Spider-Man actually grow into the more adult character, because he wasn't always a teenager in the comics. He wasn't always Peter Parker, the high school student. So they've got room to grow. They could stay with him for a long time with the character, and I hope they do. But I'm going to leave it there since I don't know anything else, and I'm just going to be sitting waiting for more news like everyone else. Thanks for watching. Bye.